and welcome everyone to this month's full-time faculty portal training. We're all very excited to have you here. And we kind of wanted to start off talking a bit about a new approach that we're taking with these training meetings. As you've all probably noticed by now, there was a huge UI update to the faculty portal last month. And while the updates are great and all, the administrative user interface update hasn't been fully released. And because of that, I had us thinking about the best way to continue these trainings. Because the UIs aren't fully released, they're subject to change. And because of that, we didn't want to continue training and then only to have to retrain due to the changes to the UI on the admin side. So because of that, we'll continue using the trainings on a monthly basis, but what we'll do is we're gonna continue using the associate faculty view, because ultimately that is gonna be how the administrative user interface will look once those updates are released and finalized. I know you're all very eager to use all the full-time administrative tools in APL. And so once that happens, we'll finally be able to, retire FMS. So we really appreciate, your support and patience during the implementation and transition process from, FMS to APL. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started. What we're going to start off with today is the first job aid that we've created under this new faculty view. And this particular job aid is going to go over the teaching activity screen that displays both courses taught and course qualifications. Let me see here. So to access this screen, you'll first want to log into your APL account. Now, by default, you should already be in your faculty view if you've SSO'd in. But if for whatever reason you aren't, you can switch to it by using the toggle switch that's located on the upper right-hand side of the screen, right next to your name and picture. Now, from here, using the left-hand navigation, you can click on the summary under the teaching. And in this summary, you'll have visibility to both courses that you've taught, as well as courses that you are qualified to teach for. The courses taught and courses qualified to teach are viewed by academic year. So if you'd like to see other years, just change the year in the dropdown. The only caveat to that, though, is unfortunately the teaching activity will only have course activities from April 28th moving forward. We are still working on adding historic teaching activities dating back several years, and we'll communicate that with everyone once that information is available. Now, this teaching area may be familiar to some of you, especially if you've recently taught an extra course. This teaching area is the same where all the contracts are housed. So as you explore and continue to use the system, you'll see like that this teaching area will probably be somewhere that you all get very familiar with. And just as a bit of a sneak peek, there's a course staffing screen here in this teaching area, and this will be where in the future you will go to accept courses that you are invited to teach, whether they are like your salary or extra courses. So please feel free to explore and familiarize yourself with this particular area. It's very straightforward and very easy to navigate. This new user interface really was, APL did a lot of, received a lot of feedback on the best way to build this out. So again, just explore and click around and see what you can do in this teaching area. I have a feeling that a lot of you will be in this area a lot, once you start to get the hang of things, moving forward. But I see that we have some questions. Some of us don't see these acronyms such as UI. Sorry, UI means user interface. Yeah, Brian, you answered that. I didn't even see that. Thank you. But it doesn't look like, does anybody have any questions about this particular screen that I can quickly go over? I know I don't see much in chat, but Pamela, if you are having trouble logging in, one of us can help you probably throughout this meeting, but you can always email facultyportal@uagc.edu, and we're always happy to help you guys out with, it might be somewhat of a permission change that we might need to change up or modify. So yeah, thank you, Teresa, for posting the link or the email.
Jesus, I just realized that since folks' email addresses have changed to UAGC, it might be important to note that the faculty portal system is still requiring your Ashford credentials. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. So when you log in to your associate faculty, you need to use your @faculty.ashford.edu account. So don't try logging in with like a @faculty.uagc because faculty emails have not changed. And that is the email that is used to SSO in. So yes, thank you for that, Teresa. Okay, so now that we've sort of gone over a bit of like the teaching area and how to access like these course qualifications and your teaching history, you sort of maybe ask yourself, well, what if I forget, right? What if I need to teach somebody how to do this? Well, now is a good time to sort of talk about one of the latest updates to the APL, which is our faculty resources. This is a new area in the portal dashboard, and it's visible to all faculty. By default, when you log into APL, whether it's your administrative or your faculty account, you'll land on the dashboard. And in the dashboard, underneath your profile picture, as you can see here, you will see faculty resources. We currently have links to the Canvas login portal. We have a link to the CETO professional development page, CETO resource page, and faculty portal resources. And if we were to click on these are hyperlinks. And if we were to click on this faculty portal resources, it would take us to our CETO site where you will find the job aid on how to review those course qualifications. Now, something to keep in mind is that there will be two different faculty resources view. There will be one for your administrative account and one that's only for associate faculty. Now, our plan is to tailor these resources so that they meet both associate faculty needs, and full-time administrative needs. So as we move forward throughout this transition, please feel free to kind of provide some feedback on what you'd like to see here, and feedback that you think associate faculty might find useful. These are something that we can edit fairly quickly, and so your feedback is always very, very much appreciated. And again, I'll keep promoting it. Faculty portal@uagc.edu. Now, are there any questions about this particular dashboard at all? Let me see. Can we eventually put college programs? Matthew, that is a very good question. Right now, unfortunately, there's no way to tailor the faculty resources by college. That is an excellent idea, actually. It could be something that we can potentially, talk to APL about, and they might, put it up as like a feature enhancement. But that would be really neat, that way each college can have, their own resources on their college specific, resources. So I will definitely jot that down. I like that idea a lot. We can't promise it, of course, but I mean, APL has been known to take our feedback and then, sort of if they see, useful needs, not just for our university, but for the other clients, then they may implement that. So thank you for that, Matthew. I think that those are all the questions I have that you guys had. So what we can do now is we actually have a very special guest today, Miss Emily Robles. She'll be talking to all of you a bit about priority scheduling in the faculty portal. So Emily, whenever you are ready, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Jesus, and good morning, everyone. I just wanted to go over a couple things. First, priority scheduling. Right now, priority scheduling is not yet built in APL and no longer accessible in FMS. These statuses are currently being managed by the scheduling team on an outside spreadsheet. So in order to receive reports on these statuses, you'll need to go to your assigned scheduler to request these reports. And also just wanted to bring up, although that there are limited course qualification reports in APL, you should continue to request course approval reports from your schedulers as well. The reason is that the reports in APL only include faculty who are aligned to your program specifically. So you may have faculty who are approved to teach your courses, but who are aligned to outside programs. These faculty will not pull in APL reports. So if you could just continue to reach out to your assigned scheduler for these reports, then you'll be able to receive full reports and all the data, including priority statuses. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, or you can also email the faculty scheduler inbox. And of course, reach out to your assigned scheduler if you have any questions. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Emily. And yes, as Emily just mentioned, these are just an example of a few of the requests that you can reach out to the scheduling team for, but always reach out to the portal as well if you need any help with who to reach out to for any other types of reports that aren't currently available or that you'd like to see in APL as we, sort of still wait for those UI updates and training for the administrative tools in APL. But Emily, definitely thank you for that. And make sure you thank the scheduling team for all the work you guys are doing for the party scheduling.
One more thing I forgot to mention. Course qualifications are also visible to the associate faculty in the portal. So if you need an updated list of faculty approved to teach your courses, please reach out to the scheduling team.
Cool. Okay. Thank you, Emily. Does anybody have any questions at all regarding party scheduling that we can go over here? Taking a look at chat here, but I think we are okay to continue. Okay. Okay, so let's continue then, shall we? So we now have Teresa and Jerry, who will talk a little bit and discuss the IQR currently in its stage in the faculty portal. So Teresa, Jerry.
Thanks, Jesus. We have some exciting news about IQR. We are at a spot where technically the IQR rubric is ready to go in the portal. And so Jerry and I are just going to share a little bit about how that works, but also what we need to do outside of the faculty portal to prepare to move that process there. A few important points to remember when you're considering how the IQR is going to function in the faculty portal. One, the portal is simply a centralized location for information about a faculty member's life cycle, and this includes any type of evaluation that they have. It's a tool for streamlining your IQR work and storing IQR data so that it is transparent to everybody who needs to see it and easily accessible. So no more spreadsheets, no more Word documents, etc. Everybody will consistently be working in the same system, which will create a lot of efficiencies. We're confident in your work. But remember that this is a tool and not a replacement for your program-specific IQR processes. We recognize that how each department, each program approaches completing the IQR and communicating it to your faculty pools is unique to your needs. This doesn't change. And this means that your practices for communication, notifying faculty, whatever you might do with conferencing with your faculty members to go over the IQR, goal setting, etc., that all remains. You may consider adding new parts to that process, etc. The faculty portal is just a tool to help you log how that is all happening, the outcomes of all that in one place so that you and your faculty have a central point of reference. So with that in mind, I'm going to turn it over to Jerry, and he's going to describe some of the system functions. We will show you the type of information that must still be managed outside of the faculty portal and what the faculty portal can do for you towards the IQR. And then we have a couple of important action items to follow. So Jerry.
Thanks, Teresa. Hi, everyone. So we've been testing out IQRs in our demo system for a couple of months. And so I wanted to say thank you to the group of full-time faculty who have been helping us in that pilot project to test things out and to make recommendations for how this should work. So when we do actually turn this on live in production, all IQR reviewers will have visibility to your necessary faculty pools, and that's based on program alignment. And then on January 1st of each year, another batch of IQRs will automatically be generated for all faculty members. And when you complete or submit each IQR, a notification will automatically show up on the reviewees dashboard in APL. And if you have custom needs for similar evaluations, we'd be happy to help you set those up. We can do things like set these evaluations up on very specific frequencies. So maybe it would happen every month or every 6 months or every quarter. And we can also create evaluations that are aligned to specific programs. So if you have some needs along any of those lines, let us know and we can help you set that up.
All right, thank you. Sorry, I was distracted looking in the chat. Matt is asking questions about the cadence of evaluations. And I see Susan asking a question about how an IQR reviewer is assigned. So regarding the cadence of evaluations, this is what Jerry was just introducing. For right now, to get us all started in the system, Jerry has created an IQR evaluation that is running on an annual cadence. So once a year on January 1st, a batch of IQRs for our entire faculty pool will be generated. However, APL allows us to create as many evaluations as necessary. So if your program has a specific process, like Matt mentioned, walkthroughs, or maybe you need to have a quarterly IQR available or a semi-annual one, we can create that for you. And this ties into the action items that we have for you at the end of the meeting, so keep that in mind. Susan, for who constitutes an IQR reviewer, Jerry was mentioning this as well. I think right now in the system, we have assigned folks permissions according to the information your department chairs have given us about who is responsible for performing IQRs. So if you have a pool of faculty you're responsible for reviewing, you should already have the permissions in the system to do so. And so we will move forward there. If anything changes throughout the year, you need to bring in more people to help perform IQRs, people's program alignments change, what have you, please just let Jerry know and he can manipulate permissions so that everyone has the access that they need. Okay, Jesus, I think we can move on. All right. So the work group that has been testing IQR functionality with Jerry over the past couple months is familiar with this chart. I'll talk a little bit more about how you can help them in a minute here. But I wanted to provide this to you so you have a sense of what the portal will facilitate versus the type of organizing that you still need to do outside of the portal. So as Jerry mentioned, the IQR evaluation is batch generated annually, right? This initial evaluation we created, again, if you have other types you need, we can make them for you. Determining and assigning IQR responsibilities, you need to manage outside of the system. Like I said, this already has been done. The department chairs have given us lists of reviewers, and those are entered into the portal production environment, so we are ready to go. Also, setting your departmental or program level expectations for the cadence at which you're completing IQRs, you need to determine outside of the system. Because all IQRs are generated once a year, you cannot just assign in the portal a certain IQR to do in a quarter, for example, or every 6 months. You can complete them according to your own schedule. Note that faculty cannot see that they have this evaluation available until you actually complete it and submit it. So you can organize on the back end how you're going to finish your IQRs, knowing that faculty aren't going to be confused. What's this IQR here for me on January 1st? They won't see it until you actually submit it. Within the system, you will actually enter your IQR scores, the narrative feedback you have for each of the categories, according to whatever completion schedule you've determined. And then you can also use a report already built into the faculty portal to see how many IQRs have been completed, which are in pending status, which are still in required status, meaning that they haven't been started yet. And that can help you keep track of whatever completion cadence you decided upon. A critical piece of this IQR process is, of course, communication. Like I mentioned, when the evaluation is generated in the system, faculty can't see it. They only can see it when you complete it. Now, when you complete it, a notification pops up in the faculty member's dashboard in the faculty portal, but that is as far as the notification goes. So that means that a faculty member would have to log into the faculty portal in order to see a notification that their IQR is ready for review. If they aren't already logging in frequently, which we know they're not because this is still a new system, we need to rely on external communication to push them there. And so we encourage you to consider how you will notify faculty when an IQR is available for review, according to whatever timeline that you set for completing the reviews. And then how you'll inform faculty about whatever review, conferencing, goal setting expectations you have. Likely you already have these systems in place from how you handle the IQRs already. The main difference here is that your communication won't have to have an attachment of a spreadsheet or a Word document or what have you. You can simply direct the faculty to the portal to review. Within the portal, what you can do is edit a completed IQR. For example, maybe you have a conference with a faculty member and decide you want to make some changes to a score or your narrative. Or maybe you had a goal setting session and you want to document those goals that you set. You can do that within the IQR rubric. So it is possible to edit a completed IQR and submit it again after you have a conference with a faculty member. You also are able to share supporting documents in a faculty member's profile via a notes function. All of this, IQR reviewers, do not worry, we will walk through this with you on a more personal level before we expect you to use the system. But for example, we've heard from our work group that there's a need to maybe share screenshots from a classroom that you're using as reference points in your review, maybe email communication you want to document, what have you. You can attach whatever you want to profile notes and direct your faculty members there to view them. Again, this is really useful to have this critical performance related information all stored in one place where you and faculty members know they can access it, and anybody else who might need to review it can see it there. Finally, for right now, any reporting that we do from the information that you put into the faculty portal, we are managing externally. Ultimately, when the faculty portal is built out and it is the beautiful one-stop shop that we know it will be, reporting will be available within the system. But for now, we are working with APL to extract data from the faculty portal so that Jerry can work his magic and put it into a nice, easily manipulated and filtered dashboard that you can use for whichever sort of analysis reporting needs that you have. This piece, of course, really relies on having a batch of data to put in there. So probably the first time we would be able to do that for you would be at the end of Q2, assuming Q2 is the first quarter that everyone is working fully in this system. But I can say from experience with the faculty support and development team's course feedback process, this data extract and the dashboard Jerry made is so helpful. So we're excited to be able to offer that for you. Okay, Jesus, you can flip to the next slide.
Oh, we need to go, we just need to cover the right side of that chart.
I tried to
incorporate that
simultaneously, but
okay.
Yes, within
Awesome.
the portal, just to review, you will actually be completing the IQRs in the portal. So that means no more spreadsheets, no more separate Word documents, etc. Putting it all in the system means it's saved in one solid place for everyone. You can keep track of which reviews still have not been started, which are pending, meaning maybe you're halfway through them, and which are completed. You can edit reviews as needed, and then you can share supporting documentation by attaching them to notes for a faculty member. Okay, so important action items. Given the type of information and the type of communication that is still necessary outside the faculty portal, in addition to testing the function of the IQR in the portal, the work group that's been working with Jerry and me has been talking about how we can help all IQR reviewers feel comfortable with the system and how their processes integrate with it by helping everyone create at least a basic SOP. So what are the expectations for using the portal to complete an IQR? And in order to do that, we do have to think about what is managed inside the portal versus externally. We have really experienced now and helpful work group representatives. So from CAS, Alan Belcher, Denise Maxwell, Marty Kessick, Robert Smiles, and Kelly Olson-Stewart are your representatives for this work group. And from Forbes, James Moore, William Woods, and Charlie Minnick have been working on it. We ask that all of you who are responsible for performing IQRs communicate with your department reps what your needs are in the way of process, or what your department's expectations are in the way of process for completing IQRs are. So each of these representatives are already armed with that chart that we showed you on the last slide, and with a set of questions that are meant to help you document what your process will be. Again, the portal is not a replacement for any of your processes. It's a tool to help them become it's a tool to help the act of completing the IQR be more efficient and to store all the information in one place. So we're hopeful, though, that getting your process down on paper will just help everyone be comfortable transitioning between what needs to be managed externally versus using the tool. So some of the questions that we're asking you to consider are, who is responsible for keeping track of when IQRs are complete? What is your expectation for communicating with faculty, knowing that once you complete an IQR, they're able to view it in the portal? What is the expectation for maybe conferencing with faculty or documenting outcomes from that? Do you expect IQR reviewers to include artifacts from the course in this notes section? Do you expect them to document goals that they've set together with associate faculty, et cetera? Documenting all those expectations will help us to help you out with this process. So again, please be in touch with your department reps. We know that they will be talking about this in, program meetings, department level meetings, et cetera. So take advantage of their knowledge. Also, we ask that you consider what sorts of IQR related development resources you would want to make available to your faculty. So you all are aware after our last portal presentation, and hopefully you've taken a moment to poke around in there, the CETL website's professional development page is completely revamped, and professional development opportunities are organized currently according to the course feedback categories that they apply to. Our objective is to build on that and create categories for each IQR element and continue the same organization on the PD page. There is a work group, a CETL full-time faculty work group that is starting this process now. And I've listed the reps for each college there. Thank you to Jesse Upshaw, Damari Grunauer-Nix, Alan Belcher, and Nate Pritz from CAS, and Gail Hoskins-Long and Gloria Zuniga-Ipostigo from Forbes. Please leverage these representatives to share resources that might benefit specific areas of the IQR. We will take those and use those to continue to organize the professional development page. And as Jesus was sharing earlier, we have now a direct link to the PD page from the faculty members dashboard and the portal. So imagine, you give them a resource that you would like them to use in your IQR. They can, from the portal, click that link and get to that resource on the CETL very easily. So from here on out, like I said earlier, we are ready to go from a technology perspective in the production environment, in the portal, to complete the IQR. The last step is making sure that everyone who's responsible for completing the IQRs is clear on process expectations outside the system and inside the system. So in order to in order to go with the IQR in the portal, we just need to solidify those SOPs. You can do that with your department reps. Also, Jerry and I will be joining department meetings throughout March. I know we've already been invited to a couple of them, and we will be using that time to walk you through the actual process of entering an IQR into the portal, so that you'll be prepared to use it. Once that's all set, we'll be ready for launch when your SOPs are ready to go. So for sure, depending on where you are, sometime in the month of March as you're ready, or in Q2 of this year. So exciting stuff. Let me now scroll through some chat. So Matt, you asked if resources can be specialized for different groups and disciplines. Of course, the objective of this reorganized PD page is to offer a clear organization for faculty to access PD instead of just floating in this ocean of resources. I presented in the last portal training meeting, another objective of this PD work group was to create a library, an annotated bibliography of discipline-specific resources. That is in the works. In fact, we have another meeting coming up on Monday and have a great start to a library of resources that will be going up on the CETL very soon. And when you talk about what about outside of CETL's PD page, I imagine you're referring to professional development opportunities that faculty find externally. That is wonderful. Faculty are not beholden to using the CETL for professional development resources. This is where we hope that you will communicate with this work group, the members I have listed below, because if you are frequently leveraging resources that we don't currently have on the CETL, let us know what they are and we will link to them. Basically, we want the CETL to be a nice library of opportunities for faculty and not any sort of limiting factor. There's no reason we can't link to outside tools that you all have found to be helpful. Not outside UAGC, outside of CETL. Matt, I am happy to talk more with you about this. I'm imagining maybe you're talking about Canvas learning communities or faculty Canvas pages. Yes, definitely. Those can be linked on the CETL as well. So let's make sure that we have a list of those. Again, we're aiming to give faculty a repository in one spot of whatever they need, regardless of where it's stored. So if you see a resource, or if you know of a resource that you cannot currently find on the CETL, let us know so we can all get it in one place. Wendy's asking, when we submit a completed IQR and are ready for the faculty member to review it, does the act of submission generate an email? Wendy, no, this is exactly why I highlighted in that chart that making a plan for communication is so critical. The act of submission generates a notification within the portal system. So say you receive an IQR, it's completed. Next time you log into the portal, you'll see on your personal dashboard, you have an IQR to review, but you have to log into the portal to see that. So external communication for right now is necessary to drive faculty to the portal. We have discussed with APL very frequently. It is on our long list of tickets for development to include that email function so that we can operate via email from the portal. So that will be coming down the line, but it's just not possible right now. Let me see if I missed anything. Brian, I see you responded to some questions. I will just reiterate in case anyone didn't see in the chat. Your visibility to faculty pools is associated with your program alignment. If you are responsible for completing IQRs, we understand that many of you complete IQRs. You know, you help each other out and do IQRs for folks that aren't necessarily in your program alignment. That is fine. This list of IQR reviewers that your department chairs provided to Jerry includes all of that information. And so Jerry made sure that you had the necessary alignments to see whoever you're assigned to review. That said, if you're having trouble accessing someone's profile to do an IQR, or maybe your assignments have changed, it's easy for Jerry to correct that in the system. You just need to communicate it to him. I think a helpful thing to remember, and of course we will cover this more explicitly when we walk you through the act of doing an IQR in upcoming department meetings. But this question has come up recently. I'm sure the folks who monitor the faculty portal inbox can attest to this as well. Some folks who support or align to multiple programs are afraid that their permissions are wrong in the system because they can only see one set of, or one program's worth of faculty pools. Note that when you filter, you cannot multi-select programs to see faculty pool. You can only filter one program at a time. So when you go into the system, if you're aligned to 3 programs, but you only see one, don't worry. It's probably not because your permissions are wrong. You'll just need to change your filter so you can see the next program's worth of faculty. Holly asked if an associate faculty member is not aligned to her, but frequently teaches courses in her program, can she see their info in IQR? Within the faculty portal, you can only see the profiles of faculty who are aligned to your program. However, as we have this extract of data from the faculty portal and Jerry's able to put it up in a dashboard, you can rely on the ops team and the faculty support and development team to pull information that will help you to manage your faculty pool, whether that be based on course approval or program alignment. So we have the capacity to give that information for you, but according to your permissions in the system, it's not possible to see anyone outside your program alignment. Although that is an interesting topic to discuss with APL and course approvals and course leads, if there's some way to further filter that out for people, because that is an important bit of information to have. So we can take that back to the developers. Guys, have I missed anything?
I don't think so. A lot of the questions that are being asked are kind of being answered by both Jerry and Brian.
Okay.
But I think for the most part.
Rob posed a question related to prior year IQRs being available in the portal in some manner, and I answered. I just posted it in the chat there. But currently, historical IQRs are not incorporated into the system. We will not have a way to have full IQRs in there, but are looking at a way to incorporate the values or the scores that were provided for those IQRs into the system.
Okay, and just to reiterate, I saw Jerry and Brian answered Allison's question above, but Allison was asking if 200 faculty are in your program and you are the lead for that program, does that mean you have to enter all 200 IQRs? No. This is exactly why we asked the department chairs for specific assignments of who completes IQRs for what, so that you can share the load and you can, that's what you manage externally, who's responsible for IQRing whom, and everybody has access to do that in the portal. So no, lead faculty are not the only ones who are able in the system to complete IQRs. If your chair assigned it to you, we have that information, and Jerry entered the permissions into the system. Any other questions?
Allison wrote that those 4 programs share a lot of faculty. If the leads for those programs want to provide visibility to all the full-time faculty in those programs, just send that to the faculty portal and we'll update program alignments to include that information for you if that's easier for you.
I thought I saw popped up that Pete Limon raised his hand. Pete, do you want to post your question in the chat? All right, while we're waiting for that question to pop up, I will just reiterate this action item of leveraging your work group, your colleges, your department's work group participants to work out an SOP for IQRs moving forward. Again, nothing has to change about your communication process with faculty, any expectations you have about conferencing, goal setting, etc. However you divide the work of performing IQRs across faculty in your program, that does not have to change. We just want to be able to articulate what that is and identify how things weave in with using the faculty portal for the actual IQR part. This work group will be meeting again on March 4th. So please send them your information, any questions you have, and we can discuss them when we meet, and know that Jerry and I will be coming to your department meetings through March. Okay. Oh, wait, I see this now. Okay, Pete asked, will there be multiple IQRs completed by different leads if associate professors teach in 2 programs, or will there be one IQR completed by the program lead? So the expectation that the IQR pertains to one's program alignment has not changed. So the assignments that your department chairs sent over are all program aligned, if that makes sense. So let's say Jerry is aligned to, Jerry, what are you aligned to?
Organizational management.
Okay, Jerry's aligned to organizational management, but sometimes he teaches Business 105 courses. Jerry's lead for organizational management, or whichever other full-time faculty is responsible for doing IQRs for that program, will complete Jerry's IQR. That process still remains the same. Okay. All right, well, if there are no other questions right now, you guys, of course, know that you are free to contact anyone on this panel directly with any questions you have. Use the faculty portal at uagc.edu address, contact your scheduler, contact your coach or consultant. We all can help get your questions answered. Also, please use the representatives from your colleges who are on this IQR work group because they are all in regular contact with Jerry and can help get your questions about the IQR system addressed. And rest assured that we will make sure everyone is trained and comfortable to actually use the system. So by the end of this quarter, we'll be ready to roll with the IQR process in the portal.